Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing some odd color mixing just because I'm curious and I just want to see what kind of creativity I can produce with the things that I already have. I'm literally going to put together some color creations that seem oddball and kind of strange that I'm really interested to see how they're going to turn out. But one thing I'm going to do that's not really strange is I am going to pick up this Dermand CC Cream Continuous Correction. This is a high-end foundation. It's 50 SPF. I bought it about a year ago when nothing on my face was working. I was just having a terrible time trying to find something that was going to cover, look decent, and do a good job. It's probably a pretty close shade to a decent match. This is shade 37N medium 1, but I also have these e.l.f. bronzing drops and they're in the shade Copper Gold. And frankly, I don't use these because I don't like the shade of the bronze. So what do I have to lose but to try to mingle these together and see what kind of a base I can come up with. I've never tried it before, so we're gonna see. I've already did a little bit of concealing because I had some pretty intense dark circles right here, and I covered up some redness on my nose. But the first thing I'm gonna do, mix this up. I'm gonna start with this Copper Gold. I like the drops themselves, the formula. It's just, I'm not a big fan of the hue, so that might be a little bit too much, but that's okay because, to be honest with you, I need to go through all of this makeup that I have, so if it seems like I'm using too much or wasting it, it's better than it just sitting in my makeup drawer doing nothing. So I might as well experiment, right? I'm gonna be generous with the actual foundation. Then I'm gonna take this e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush and, oh, that didn't turn out so bad, I don't think. And I'm moving it around onto the brush. Oh, that is not as obnoxious as I thought it was gonna be. So I'll be interested to see how this works as a foundation. I don't have on any primer. I actually forgot to put on primer today. I do like a good primer. I do like a good primer so that my face is prepared to actually receive the makeup. It just kind of goes on a little bit nicer sometimes. So, all right, well, let's go in here and see what happens. I'm gonna press it in. This is a really nice surprise. This is a nice surprise that actually worked out to be a wonderful color combination. That is a beautiful finish. Well, I'm super happy with that. I feel like I don't even really need to add any additional concealers or anything. There's a little bit, I can see, some texture, but that, I did use a lot of makeup. So that's definitely, gonna happen. That's gonna happen. You use a lot of makeup, you're gonna get some texture. But the color combination, the glow to it is amazing. That was a great idea. Really happy with that. I'm gonna let that sit there just for a second before I decide to powder anything. I'm just gonna let it warm up to my skin I'm definitely going to powder. I'm just gonna give it a second. Okay, so the next little experiment that I'm planning is I am obsessed. I'm obsessed with these e.l.f. tints. These are lip and cheek tints. I have the shade Plums Up and Cherry Cola. This one's a little bit brown, this one's a little bit pink. And so based on what I'm planning to use for eyeshadow today and my blush, which is also a little bit weird, I'm gonna see what happens if I mix these two together. I've been using my lip color early into my makeup routine because I find that it just makes me feel a little, like it just warms up my face a little bit. So, okay. I've never done this. You're seeing this here, folks, first. And I start out pretty darn conservative. And I may end up adding just a little bit more. Actually, this one I'm gonna do. Dot that, Cherry Cola. Dot that, Plums Up. And then mix them on my lips. The thing about these tints is you gotta be careful about dotting, because when you dot, they stain. They stain in the position that they were applied. So I can see that even happening on my lips. I think it has a nice warmth to it. I like it. I didn't think this was gonna be a big risk, but I like it. And I'm a pretty toned down lip gal. I don't put a lot of stuff, I don't put a lot of dark things on my lips. I do feel like I need to cover a little bit of my lip that I sort of missed. I don't want to put too much. Just looks kind of just really pretty. I like it. Get the inside of my lip there. So, okay, I like that. I like the fact that I now have 3 shades of these e.l.f. lip tints. It's amazing what you can do when you start mixing. I usually have pretty good luck with mixing. Sometimes I mix something and it's like, that's sketchy, but most of the time I have pretty good luck. And the fun thing about it is that even if it doesn't turn out that great, you can always just wash it off and start over again. So my next step with my lip process is I take a pretty neutral lip pencil. This is the NYX lip pencil in the color Nude Beige. I'm going to line this very subtle . Wow. See, yeah, that tint, don't tap it on anything. If you do, you'll regret it. But maybe I can settle it down now because I'm going to go in with my Revlon Super Lustrous Sparkling Quartz. This is just a kind of a sparkly clear lip gloss, and I like to put it over the top. And it just lights it up. So pretty, so stinking pretty. So this type of lip creation, or this color, or this combination has actually, boy, that's still there, has actually replaced any desire for me to go out and buy a bunch of glosses or even lipstick. I'm really loving this, and these are so inexpensive that if I grab anything else, it'll probably maybe just be another couple colors of this and possibly, you know, different colored lip pencils that are very inexpensive, and it does not irritate my lips. Maybe you don't see that dot in the middle of my lips, but I do. So now I'm gonna go ahead and powder my face a little bit. I'm gonna use the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Pressed Translucent Powder. I find this to be an excellent powder. It does not cake, it just mattifies and just lays everything down so nicely. It really is my favorite powder. If there's another powder out there that's better than this one, I'd love to try it, but let me tell you, so far, over the last 10 years, this has been my favorite powder. I haven't used it consistently over the past 10 years, but I definitely have always gone back to it. It's just a very nice powder for mature skin. The next thing that I have planned is today I am going to do an eyeshadow look with my Keep It Ethereal e.l.f. palette. I bought this back around maybe Christmas of last year, and I've only used it a couple times. I can't resist these 10 pan e.l.f. palettes. I just think they're really beautiful, and I like them a lot. And I've got 4 of them now. How many eyeshadow palettes can a girl have? All right, I do not have any primer on my eyelids right now. You know what? Let's try this without primer and see what happens. If it makes a mess, then I'll know. This is a Real Techniques Essential Crease Brush. I am going to use it for above my crease. I will usually take a sort of neutral color to start to open up my eye a little bit. And I've been sitting here thinking, what am I going to start with? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with this shade here. It's sort of a light brown with a little bit of tint, gray tint of some kind.
So the heater kicked in and started making all kinds of racket. So now I will be applying the eyeshadow with a voiceover, hoping to explain every move I was making. I started right above the crease and I applied it with back and forth strokes until I was able to get a lift or the appearance of a lift from my eye. I went almost all the way up to my eyebrow. And I started out conservative and I just kept it building until I got just the right hue or just the right amount of product on both eyes. So basically that's what you're seeing here. What you can't hear me saying is how much I appreciated this e.l.f. palette. For as inexpensive as it is, the product went on quite smoothly and there was no fallout, which I really appreciate. The color, the pigment, I was building up, but for a $10 palette, I thought the pigment and the performance was really excellent, and I loved how easy it was to build on my eye. I didn't have any eye primer on either. I chose this rosy shade for the movable part of my lid, and I applied it with a Real Techniques medium shadow brush. I hadn't used this palette in a year, so I was guessing at how these different shades were going to mesh, and I was really happy with that rosy shade up against the brownish gray above my crease. I just continued to tap the brush into the product until I was happy with how deep this shade was. I always start out conservative and build. Of course, I've said that probably 10 times by now. But I continued to pile it on because I really liked it. Using a Real Techniques Defining Crease brush, I went in with this sort of brownish, reddish shade for my actual crease and started to apply and wasn't super happy with the way it looked. It's not that it was totally awful, it just didn't look good when I started to apply it to my outer corner, so I ended up actually removing it from my outer corner and replacing it with something different. I picked up this Real Techniques shaping brush, and this is where I tried to apply this color in the outer corner of my eye, and I just did not like it. And so you'll see here where I go in and it kind of makes a mess, and it's just not a good color match. So I'm going to just speed through this because I'm just going to end up removing it anyway. Using the Essential Crease brush from Real Techniques, I went back into that original color that I initially started with right above my crease, just to replace some of the color there that got a little bit muddied from the brown hue that I wasn't happy with. And then I went back into the rose shade with that original eyeshadow brush and replaced some of that on my movable lid there. Here I'm just using a regular fluffy brush. I don't know what brand it is. Just doing a little blending to soften the edges there. I picked up a flat eyeshadow brush from our BS Small collection, and this is just a really muted shade for under my brows. I was really happy with the way this eye look was coming together. I picked up this Bare Essentials eyeliner brush. It's a really good brush. I don't think you can buy it anywhere anymore, but I picked up the darkest shade out of this palette to start my eyeliner. I picked up this Real Techniques smudge brush, which is excellent. Did a really good job moving the product around, but I still had to do a little bit of cleanup.
e.l.f. Flawless Brightening Concealer. Saves the day. Cleans it right up. I'm going to get back to this blending brush. Give it a little bit more blend. Blend it all together. Might as well stick with the e.l.f. products. So I'm going to pull out my e.l.f. lash extender. I'm going to whip it on really fast. I'm gonna add a little bronzer, and then I'm gonna go for the blush. This is my IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores bronzer. This is the shade Beige. It has a slight fragrance. It's clean. It smells like clean tropics. I don't know how else to describe it. It smells like a clean tropical smell. It doesn't bother me at all. Use a round fluffy brush. Just sort of warm my face a little bit. I like to put bronzer anywhere that I need warmth. Even if it's somewhere that the sun wouldn't naturally hit. I don't care about those rules. I really don't. Okay, my blush mixing is going to seem very, very unusual because it is. I am going to take this Buxom Plump shot in the shade Tickled Pink, and I'm going to mix it with e.l.f.'s Camo liquid blush in the shade Coral Crush. So I have no idea what this is going to look like. So I'll start with the Coral Crush on the back of my hand. Just like so. It's very pigmented, so I don't want to get too much of that. Then I'm going to grab, this is very creamy. And it looks like that. This is going to be interesting. I don't really find it extraordinary. Let me see how close. To me, that almost looks like the exact same color. So that means I'm going to add a little bit more of the Coral Crush. Trying to make sort of a pseudo fall shade. You can see the difference. This is the Tickled Pink. This is the Tickled Pink Buxom blush next to the mix. So there's a slight difference there. Oh yeah, you can see the difference. So basically the Coral Crush just basically warmed it up a little bit. So that's good enough for me. Let's go in and add some blush. Let's get a little bit of color going on this face, shall we? Alrighty, I'm just gonna grab, it's probably gonna be too much initially, but that's typically how I roll. I like the color. I'm not sure if it's a good match for my eye look, but I don't think it's totally off. Now I'm gonna have too much initially because I always do. But then I'll fix it. I'm not a subtle blush applier by any stretch of the imagination. It goes everywhere. Okay, having said that, I'm going to take a Real Techniques stipple brush and clean that up, give it a little bit more uniformity so it's not all over my face like a fire engine. I think that color turned out really nice. It's nothing like earth-shattering, you know, it's not reinventing the wheel or anything, but it turned out to be just a nice pink with a little warmth, which I think matches my lips and my eyes. For not knowing what I was going to get into, I think that turned out really well. I'm happy with that. Mixing colors is fun, whether it's eyes, cheeks, lips, foundations. It's fun to mix and just create something that's your very own. I really enjoy that.
Thanks so much for stopping by, and if you've enjoyed my content, I'd really appreciate if you could give me a thumbs up or subscribe if you have not already, and I'll see you next time.